Hi students, in this video I'll be going through the 2014 O-Level Paper 1 question 4. Alright, so this is a question relating to partial fractions. So we are asked to express x plus 2 square over x square times x minus 2 as a sum of 3 partial fractions. So if you see over here, they want you to divide this into 3 partial fractions. Okay, so if you look at the denominator, you can see that there are only two types of terms, x squared and x minus 2. So where are we going to get three partial fractions? Okay, so over here you need to recognize that this x square, right? Okay, this x square is actually a repeated linear factor. Okay, repeated linear factor. Right, this means that this x square is made up of x times x. Right, so x itself is a linear factor, then you have x times x, it becomes a repeated linear factor. So this x square is a repeated linear factor. Right, so let's take a look at how we can break up a repeated linear factor. So, okay, we are going to let x plus 2 square over x square times x minus 2. We'll let it be equals to, okay, so for a repeated linear factor, the first term is without the square, right? Then the second term will be the one with the square. So this is how you break up repeated linear factors. And then the third one will be c over x minus 2. Okay, so for repeated linear factor, it's actually rather easy. Okay, so we break up into three partial fractions, and that's why they ask you to express as a sum of three partial fractions. Right, so how are we going to solve for a, b, and c? Okay, so basically we are going to multiply throughout by x squared and x minus 2. Okay, so why do we want to multiply throughout by this? Because we want to get rid of all the denominators. Okay, so after multiplying throughout by x squared times x minus 2, okay, so for this, okay, so we are going to do the multiplication for all these four terms, okay, including the term on the left side. Okay, so if the term on the left side you multiply by x squared times x minus 2, the entire denominator will cancel off and you will just be left with x plus 2 squared. Alright. Okay, then if the a over x multiplied by x squared, the x in the denominator will cancel off with one of the x in the x squared, so you will just be left with a x minus 2. Okay, likewise for the b, the x squared is going to cancel off, so you'll be left with b times x minus 2. And then for the c, the x minus 2 will cancel off, so you'll be left with c x squared. Okay, so over here now, at this point, you need to pause and think, what can we do to find a, b, and c? So when you solve math question, you always want to find the easiest possible method. Okay, so in this case, let's say I want to find over here b. Okay, so if I want to find b, what can I let x be? Right, so if you have guessed that you are going to let x be 0, then you are right. Because if you let x be 0, okay, if this is equal to 0, then you have a times 0 times 0 minus 2. Okay, so anything times 0 is going to be 0. So as long as one term in the product is 0, the whole thing becomes 0. So in this case, if you think about it, a will be gone, c will also be gone because c is cx squared. So if you put x to be 0, it's c times 0 squared, so c is gone. Okay, so to find b, we are going to let x be 0. Okay, so that's what we are going to do. Okay, so 0 plus 2 square equals to, okay, actually we don't need to write the a and the c term already because it's going to be 0. So if you want to simplify your working, we can just write like this. All right. Okay, so on the left side, we're going to get 4. On the right side, negative 2b. So this means that b is going to be equals to 4 over negative 2, which is negative 2. Right? Okay, so next thing, what else can we let x be to find, let's say, another value? So either a or c. Okay, so if you have guessed x to be 2, you are right. Because if I put 2 here, okay, over here, if I let x be equals to 2, we have 2 minus 2, so 0. So a will be gone. Okay, then if I put 2 over here, okay, then 2 minus 2, b times 0, b will be gone. Then I can find c. Right, so that's what we are going to do. So we're going to let x equals to 2. Okay, so on the left side is 2 plus 2 square. On the right side, the a is going to be gone, so we are not going to write b gone also. So we are left with c 2 square. Okay, so on the left side, 2 plus 2 is 4. 4 square is 16. Then over here we have 4c. Right, so c is going to be equals to 4. Okay, so now that we have found b and c, okay, then next one we can find a lah. Okay, so for a, you can either let x be a certain value, because since you already know b and c, then if you just put any value for x, you should be able to work out a, since it's the only unknown left inside the equation. Okay, but let's try another method, which is equating of coefficients. Okay, so if you look at this expansion, okay, if let's say I want to compare coefficient of x squared, so this a times this x, right, will give me ax squared. So a is a coefficient of x squared, which means I can actually compare coefficient x squared to find a. So the other coefficient x squared will be c. But since I know c to be 4, then this will not be a problem now. Okay, so we can actually compare coefficient x squared. Okay, but let's question ourselves, what is the coefficient of x squared on the left side? Okay, so if you can't see it directly, you can actually expand out x plus 2 square. So you end up with x squared plus 4x plus 4. So the coefficient of x squared will actually be 1. Okay, so let's equate coefficient of x squared now to find a. Okay, so equating coefficient of x squared. Okay, so on the left side, coefficient of x squared is 1. On the right side, we have ax squared, so a plus the cx squared behind. Okay, so plus c. Okay, so if c is 4, then we have 4 here. So a will be 1 minus 4, we get negative 3. Okay, so now that we have found all of the b, c, and a, then we can just simply write out the answer. Okay, so therefore, x plus 2 square over x square x minus 2 is going to be equals to, okay, so a is negative 3, so negative 3 over x. Okay, b is negative 2, right? Okay, so negative 2 over x squared. Okay, and then c is 4, so 4 over x minus 2. Right, so this will be the answer for this partial fraction. So we have successfully broken it up into the sum of 3 partial fractions.